Hello everyone, and welcome back to Divinity Original Sin. I actually went through the tutorial cave again just to make sure I didn't waste this rain scroll, and we'll see in just a bit why I did that. We're now out in the open. If we check the map, that's where we entered the... no, wait, somewhere... That's the waypoint, I think. A little ahead of that, we entered the tutorial cave. Yep, down here. So we could have just gone ahead and basically walked around that, but I wanted to go through the tutorial basically so that a lot of the features of the game are explained all in one go. Otherwise, I'm one of those people who forgets features that people might be interested in. And then I'd keep explaining stuff on the fly, and I think the tutorial is fairly well done. And it introduces us to at least a fair amount of the features of the game right off the bat. I definitely want this shovel. We also found a waypoint here. I don't believe we actually have any others yet, but this does exactly what you would expect. I don't have any others, but I can fast travel from these portals to all the other portals of that type. In just the ordinary fashion, allowing me to save on the walking. Because there is a fair amount of walking and running around involved in the game, as you will soon discover for yourself. But I actually want to go over here to get a nice little...
Shells of men, yield me unto the water. Woe is me, dry air my sorrow. Oh, mighty ocean, how I pine for thee.
Okay, and this is again what I said about the sort of slightly poetic nature of the dialogues at times. There is a certain grandness to how the game is written, basically. Okay, let's see what we can do with this gigantic clam. Shell, whatever. Well, it's a clam. Look, look, a wanderer comes my way, walking the sands upon which this poor shell must suffer. Okay, let's ask him who he is then. Call me Ishmael, son of the sea, an outcast upon these wretched shores. Again, if you know Moby Dick, you know where that's coming from. An exiled shell, doomed to live under a canopy of arid sky, not his native tender water. Okay, so it seems strange that you can talk. It's also my name, apparently. Strange. Of course I can talk, don't be silly. There's more tongue in me than heart. To me than heart. Indeed, the surprise should be mine, for I still remember the days when your kind swung from branches and plucked the vermin out of their neighbor's fur. So it's apparently a very old shell. You don't seem to remember the past very fondly. And I'll try to do voices, but I'm not very skilled at it, so from one doing the voice to the next, it'll sound different. Time is an indulgent mistress to one who spends happy hours as she passes. But when your existence is one of misery, she becomes a lethargic harpy. Oh, I remember ancient times, for I have lain here since antiquity, when the ruins around us were palaces and the sun-bleached dead merry children. All this I have seen, alive, alone, alas. You say that you're doomed? My fate is a cruel one, I assure you. How many snot-noses have held me up against their dirty little ears, only to claim they can hear the ocean? Of course they hear her, the brats. We are on the very edge of the great aquatic mother, whose embrace I so desperately long for. Which, that reminds me of a joke that I saw on a webcomic. And it basically stated, statistically, if you pick up a seashell and don't hold it to your ear, it's likely you'll be able to hear the sea. So it's the sea's embrace you long for. Yes, yes, I, King of Pearls, ache to repose anew on his coral throne. Hurl me toward the water, swing me as far as your arms' strength gives leads. Had to drop the voice because that's difficult for me to say. Give sleaze and treasure long sunk I will grant thee. Okay, I should decide what to do with you. Nice music in the background, by the way. I so far haven't had any problems with the music of the game being copyrighted, so I'm hoping that's okay. What do you say, kind knight? Will you return the King of Pearls to the sea, so he may yield you long-lost treasure? And I will do the nice thing here. Kindness is its own reward. And then there's the promise of treasure to boot. Let's throw him into the sea. I think otherwise we could sort of just take his pearl and leave him to die, basically. And I will just agree on charm. I don't want these guys to develop differently. I'll mostly be agreeing. Liberator, kind benefactor, bless me with the might of your sea-bound pitch.
The sea. The sea. I have returned, where every wave feels like a mummy's kiss. May the bounty of the deep be yours, along with my eternal gratitude.
Splitch. And we get the chest. Well, we get a chest, which contains an old copper amulet, which is just for sale. For selling. And 121 gold. I don't know what you get if you don't do what he asks. I'm sort of kind-hearted in that respect, and I always do what the... Well, if it seems like the nice thing to do, I will usually try to help everyone, and it doesn't always work out. Sometimes what I think is the right thing is actually ends up being the wrong thing, but I still try. Really, really nice music here. If I'm a little quiet, it's because I want you to be able to enjoy it.
Don't you think? You keep them eyes open.
Greetings!
Okay. So that little hint just told me. Firstly. Yeah, these drunk guards are trying to stop us, basically. Calm down, juniors. Doesn't look like one of them orcs to me. Not a single horn in sight, you know. I can't do drunken voices very well, by the way. Oh, let's hold your tongue, will you, Bilius? Can't be too careful. We're sworn to protect Sicil. But, okay, we see the first one again. Hold on, not so quickly. You may not be an orc, but that doesn't mean I trust out wandering the beach. Who's to say I'm not a spy? Come, I'm talking you to the withered. He'll squeeze the truth out of you one way or another. So that's my drunk voice. I don't know what I sound like when I'm drunk, so... Okay, he wants to take us to the wizard, so yeah, sure. I mean, it's technically where we want to go anyway. I think the wizard is the one who hired us in the first place. Agreed, a wizard is bound to know more about what's going on around here. And I gained a level. See, Junior, he means no harm. Come along, we're not far from the city.
Bye.
Is that what drunk people sound like? I honestly really don't know. Okay. I make a point not spending too much time with people who are drunk. On this level up, we get an attribute point and an ability point. And it sort of... each level is slightly different. You don't get an attribute point every level. You don't... well, I think you get an ability point every level. You occasionally get talent points as well. And look, we are... I am supposedly obedient. I am altruistic and pragmatic. Okay. On Strange, I will just spec another point of strength. And I'm just trying to see if there's any abilities I want to improve. Yes, I actually want to improve my lucky charm, which basically gives me a chance to get bonus drops. And charm will get a bonus point in intelligence. Being a caster, that's her best attribute, or her most important one, I think. And in addition to geomancer and witchcraft, I will be speccing pyrokinetic, which is fire abilities and spells. Okay, here we have a crafting and cooking book, and a barrel containing a cup of water and some flour.
If the orcs show up, I don't want to have to face the buggers alone.
And there's supposedly orcs around here. Very worrying. These guys are now following us as our escort, basically. Oh, another old wooden... an old wooden fire staff. I'm just trying to compare that to what I'm currently wearing. Okay, so it's worse. It would do fire damage instead of earth damage, but it actually does less damage. So I don't believe that our future enemies are particularly weak against fire. At least not quite yet, so... And down here we already see a few guys fighting orcs. There's this sort of transparency effect to them. It's not because they're So our escort has seen orcs and is running away. The transparency is not because they're ghosts or anything like that, it's because they're far away. And that's just how the game handles sort of NPCs which are a little further away. They tend to be a little transparent. Okay, we get an autosave here. I should remember to quick save a lot. Not because the game crashes, I've never seen it crash yet, but because the game sometimes gives you difficult fights. Okay, so what do we have here?
Charge! Kill the unbelievers!
A black cultist and 2 young orc troopers. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll move next to the shaman, and next turn I can attack him. And I'll spawn a spider right here to try and distract at least that orc trooper from Strange and Charm both. The game is still a little loud. I may have to change that. Okay, why doesn't the spider attack the young orc trooper? Okay, so the black cultist is actually fighting in that direction. That's nice of him. Shaman's doing a bit of fire damage. The battle log is a little confusing at times. It basically it pushes new info not to the top, but actually it sort of pushes it to the bottom and up, if you know what I mean. So new things are added at the bottom, and I can scroll around it, and it allows me to see what enemies use which abilities and all that stuff. Okay, I can now attack the orc shaman. Twice. And actually kill him. Very nice. And I can even give a bit of a combat buff to Strange. So if he gets another turn, which there's only one enemy left, it might not happen. But in case he does, he will be able to do more damage. Okay. That attack didn't do much, but it's okay. Spider is moving very slowly, but it's actually... I like the animations in the game. All in all, I have to say that in addition to feeling very nice and roleplay, the game also looks amazing.
Did you see that? Those orcs had a human commander.
How very curious. And how very disquieting.
Okay.
One day, comrade, vengeance will be ours. Filthy beasts! I'll kill
I
the last
am going to pick up all the stuff I have around here. Some healing potions, some money. Just all the things. And yeah, it's a curious fact that the orcs were being accompanied by a human, even though humans and orcs are technically enemies. And all that is... well, we don't know much yet. We've been sent to interrogate and investigate all these things. Investigate, not interrogate. Well, we will do interrogations, but you get my point. By the way, down here, this symbol of the armor with the sword being marked yellow,
I'll kill the last one of
that tells me that I'm getting slightly low-ish on durability on my weapon. And we've also found an enchanted item, but we don't have Lore Master yet and a magnifying glass to identify it.
In love? When this little chum
I like
fades,
you
you'll
much
liberate the
better with
flesh
your
from
guts
our
on the
faces.
floor.
Okay, there's lots of NPCs talking here. I'm trying to get away from that a little bit in just a moment. So our sword is at 51 out of 70, so it still has a long way to go. This warning here pops up very soon. Very early.
Taken before his time. Far before his time.
Okay. Now we can go over here. And we see a burning shop. So I'm using my rain scroll that I saved from the tutorial to extinguish the flame, giving me nice little experience bonus of, I think, 900, wasn't it? And a reputation bonus. Basically, we saved the ship. Okay, some exploration XP. And I will do this dialogue here, and then I think I'll try to cut this this game not so much by time, but by sort of when it makes sense to cut, essentially. We'll see. Firstly, we get an autosave, and we get to talk to Arhu. What's all this ruckus? Sounded worse than a dozen tomcats fighting over the world's last mackerel. Ah, but I see we suffered another orc landing, and judging by the relative ease with which it was dispatched, I can only come to one conclusion. Source hunters have arrived in Sicil. You're as welcome as a glass of cooled milk on a hot day, my friend. I am Arhu at your service. It was I who requested your presence here in this troubled city. You see, I'm sure Source is tangled into the murder of Councillor Jake, but Captain Aureus, commander of the Legion in Sicil, insists I'm seeing ghosts. I insist he's blind to all but the undead. Okay, let's go through the dialogue. There's a lot of options here. And I can always scroll back up to see past stuff that's been said, but by default the window only shows me the last thing that was said and all the options I have to reply. Okay, concerning Councillor Jake's murder, why are you convinced sorcery was involved? In note it's spelled O-U-R-C-E-R-I, so the default spelling of that word would be without the U, but it's sorcery because source and such. Just a nice little touch. I really like how this game has thought a lot of these things through much further than other games. Okay. It's hard to put my finger on it, but I can feel it in my very whiskers that foul magic was at play. Note he does a lot of cat metaphors. Visit the scene of the crime, and I'll bet sardines for salad you'll say the same. You can find it in the King Crab Inn, by the way. The scene of the crime, I mean. The Legion has it under guard. The orcs we dispatched. They were led by a human. A human, you say? Truly? But that would be like a kitten leading a wolf pack. And yet, I have heard rumors about a sect of sorts, a shadowy set of worshippers that associate even with orcs. Some say they're sorcerers, but people will say that about anyone who behaves a bit strangely nowadays. Sorry, I should pay more attention to my reading. I don't know quite what to make of this news, but thank you for informing me. It would be wise not to dismiss such a curious event out of hand. Okay. What exactly is the trouble you're having with the undead? Ah, the undead. Well, they're Sicil's main threat, aren't they? They've been clawing their way out of the ground for 2 years now, and for 2 years the stalemate between them and the living has been dragging on at a weary pace indeed. The Legion did a good job keeping that bay, but I think it's fair to say that without my magic-infused ballistae, they would have gotten the better of us by now. Someone is responsible for the outbreak. Necromancers are at work, but who are they and where do they hide? Alas, searching for them is like searching for a single louse in a lion's mane. From what I've seen and heard, this isn't the first time you've had problems with marauding orcs. Unfortunately, that is absolutely correct. The orc siege is yet another hairball stuck in this city's already choking throat, and it shows no signs of abating. We've cordoned off the western beach where most orc activity has been reported. For the 9 lives of me, I can't seem to figure out what they're doing here. Again, all the cat metaphors, I like that. There's nothing of interest along the waterfront except for a set of caves with an unfavorable reputation. Maybe they're after some fictitious pirate treasure, the fools. Ha! And something I actually meant to say earlier when we were talking to the guards. Any NPC we can talk to, we can also trade with. So, just clicking this button. However, the things that they are actually able to trade vary from person to person. So if it's just a normal guy, say a sailor we just met, he might only have an apple and a healing potion, and he won't have much money. And then there are NPCs who are actually merchants. So they will, just by default, have more money available and have more goods to sell. But since we're source hunters and we have money, and it's a sort of world where if you have money and you can offer anyone stuff, and they will take whatever they have and offer it back, basically. So it makes sense that you can trade with everyone, but only the ones that are actually somewhat specialized merchants will have really large amounts of money, for example, available for bartering. There's actually something I might want to buy here. I don't want to create a fire surface. Okay, he doesn't currently sell it. His selection of spells is random, and I think it resets maybe once a day. There's a certain fire spell that I really want, but I think it can wait. I will ask him to identify this ring for me, though. It has Lawmaster +1 and Poison Resistance +10%, okay. And that's really all I wanted to show you, just wanted to make sure you know how this all works. Identifying glasses, unfortunately, are very expensive. And you see at the bottom right, their value is 188 gold, and we have to pay 456 gold. That's because we're not good at bartering, and it tends to be that we sell items at well below their actual value, such as here. We can get 132 gold for this, but its actual value would be 320. Okay, but I don't really need anything right now, so I'll close this and we get sent right back to the dialogue just where we left off. Okay, I'm glad we've met, Source Hunter, and I'm certain we have a lot more to talk about. Feel free to visit me whenever you want. I've set up workshop in the Legion's headquarters. Once you're there, just take the stairs, but do pay a visit to Aureus first. He may bark like a beagle with his tail stuck in the door, but you won't get very far in your investigation without speaking to the de facto leader of Sicily. I wish you luck, Hunter. May your enemies prove to be mere mice, and you the dauntless Mouser.
Sorcery, sects, undead, orcs. Looks like we have our work cut out for us.
At least we won't be bored. How about we go see that Aureus chap Ahu mentioned?
Okay, so let's go over some stuff that I found in the tutorial. Sadly, there's a bit of NPC dialogue in the background. I'm talking over that because it's not relevant and we'll see it again and again. It's repeating, basically. Okay, I found a short sword, which is better than my training sword. It does 22 to 30 instead of 15 to 20, so it's actually quite an improvement, and I have enough strength to use it. I could wear this copper amulet, but it has no advantages, so I might as well not. Found some old cloth shoes, which have a little more armor rating than the ones I had before. And I also have plate armor, giving 5% resistance against the elements and doubling my armor rating. There's also a penalty to movement. Basically, wearing heavy armor means I move slower. As in, for a single action point I get less distance covered. That's what that means. And wow, there's lots and lots of talking in the background. Okay.
This place reeks of orc stench.
Avert your gaze and I'll handle this threat for all our sakes.
She wouldn't hurt a fly, and I won't let you hurt a horn on her.
Yeah. So lots of stuff going on. the citizens that only have a sort of title, as in the ones that are just called citizens, I don't care too much about them. They're not very relevant, but there's tons of NPCs that actually have a name. And those I will talk to. There's lots and lots to cover, but I think I'll actually do that next episode. So there's people here, there's Pablo for example, and there's a whole harbor full of stuff. Yeah, next time we'll explore the city and talk to lots of people, so there won't be much action, but as I said, it's not really an action-packed game. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.